Villager's son up for murder charges after a naked woman's body was discovered in his room. Wildwood police to build a substation in Middleton. An unlicensed driver from Mexico was arrested after a crash and put on hold by ICE. Spanish Springs to receive a $1.2 million upgrade. Pickleball Billy was arrested after an unwanted visit with a neighbor. Villager jailed in a woman's fatal fall from his golf cart. More homes planned at a development next to the villages. Residents are claiming people are leaving the villages because of the horrendous traffic. The PWAC, not the developer, will pay for a sinkhole repair at a newly purchased golf course. How many holes of Wins of Golf did we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Well, we got a few updates. Let's get to them, get them out of the way. Villagers plan to pressure officials about an overburdened intersection which is regularly causing long delays. The intersection is located at Morris Boulevard and State Road 44, serving as a gateway to the southern end of the villages. Cars have been backed up past the roundabout, which also serves as an entry point to the popular Rohan Rec Center. Drivers venturing south of 44 have complained that they have had to wait for 3 and 4 cycles at the stoplight at the busy intersection. Well, that'll be their update. They're going to pressure the commission. Good luck. I believe this is going to be the final update on this chapter of this accident that happened at Spanish Springs. An 86-year-old villager who was intoxicated and driving a golf cart when he hit a pedestrian last year at Spanish Springs Town Square will lose his driver's license for 6 months. James Dowling of the village of Mira Mesa pleaded no contest this past month in Lake County Court to a charge of driving under the influence. In addition to losing his driver's license for 6 months, he has been placed on probation for 1 year and has been ordered to perform 50 hours of community service. That'll be his update. And I believe this is the last update that I've got so far. A villager who admitted he had been drinking beer at Cody's Original Roadhouse before driving his golf cart down Buena Vista Boulevard has been sentenced in a drunk driving case. Arnold Godfrey Jr., 77, who lives in the Carabella Villas in the village of Collier, pleaded no contest this past month in Sumter County Court to a charge of driving under the influence. He will lose his driver's license for 6 months, been placed on probation for 1 year, and has been ordered to perform 50 hours of community service. That'll be his update. I believe that's all the updates. So let's get on with some news. A 90-year-old villager with dementia was reportedly attacked in his home by a man identified as his son. Officers were called shortly before 3 p.m. Monday to a home on Bolivar Street in the village of Del Mar, where the elderly man had been knocked to the ground during an argument with a 35-year-old Daniel Roy Miller, according to the arrest report of the Lady Lake Police Department. Miller woke up in an angry mood due to a solicitor coming to the residence. Miller, who stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighs 300 pounds, began arguing with the older man and struck him in the face and knocked him down. Miller, identified in a report as an unemployed welder, admitted he struck the man, but Miller claimed he did so with an open hand. Like that makes a difference. He's 90 goddamn years old. Miller also confirmed the elderly man fell to the ground. The report identified Miller as the man's son and indicated the older man suffers from dementia. Miller was arrested on a felony charge of battery. He was booked at the Lake County Jail on $5,000 bond. You know, these kind of reports really just get to me. A cleaning lady was accused of pocketing money and cheating her employer at a job site in the villages. Brianne Lene Shaw, 26 of Wildwood, was facing a charge of theft as a result of an incident which occurred last year when she was working for the Very Best Cleaning in the villages. She had been cleaning at a home in the villages and was paid $130 in cash by the homeowner, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The wife, apparently unaware that her husband had paid in cash, gave Shaw a check for $120. She gave the check to her employer but kept the cash. Once Shaw's employer learned that the customer had double paid for the cleaning service, the employer returned the money to the client and absorbed the loss. The employer contacted law enforcement to report what had happened. Shaw has pleaded not guilty in the case and remains free on a $150 bond. Sumter County Court records indicate that Shaw has been living in the Wildwood Common Apartments, but is in the process of being evicted. Shame on you. A driver crashed into a store after confusing the gas pedal with the brake. The accident occurred Saturday morning at the Xfinity store in Lady Lake. A woman driver, said to be in her 60s, said she mistakenly hit the gas pedal and crashed into the store, according to the preliminary information from the Lady Lake Police Department. The driver was not injured, but a woman in the store was injured and was transported by ambulance to a local hospital. The driver was ticketed on a charge of careless driving. You know, I'm not there yet. Maybe I'll get there someday. I don't know. But this kind of report here where somebody gets confused about the brake and the gas, I've read this many times. This is not an unusual thing. It's nothing that happens every day, but it seems like it happens on a regular basis. I'm not sure what causes that. Dementia? I don't know. That's why I don't like walking in front of cars walking down a sidewalk to go inside a store. I will walk behind them. I know that's not safe either, but I feel like I'm safer. That's all I know. 2 people were injured when 2 golf carts sideswiped each other Wednesday afternoon on the Morse Boulevard Bridge at Lake Sumter. One golf cart was northbound and the other was southbound when they struck each other at about 2 p.m. according to the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The southbound golf cart traveled over the concrete median into the vehicle travel lane on Morse Boulevard. 2 people traveling in the southbound golf cart suffered minor injuries and were transported by ambulance to UF Health Spanish Plains Hospital in the Villages. 2 people traveling in the northbound golf cart escaped injury. Citations were not issued. I've talked about that area before many times. I haven't mentioned it for a long time. I felt like I got the message out there. But when you leave Lake Sumter and you're heading, say, to Spanish Springs area, or if you're coming from Spanish Springs, coming down to Lake Sumter in your golf cart, that short area across the bridge right there is very narrow. And it's dangerous. And there's nothing there really to keep you from going out into the traffic. And I've often worried about somebody in a car not paying attention that could jump that curb and come onto the golf cart lane and kill people. That happened once, not too far from my house. A Cadillac came off the highway onto the golf cart path and killed 2 elderly women. And I don't know why something's not being done about that. When I go across that bridge, just to show you how narrow it is, I reach out and I pull my driver's mirror in because it doesn't take much to get over just a little bit and you're going to hit that golf cart next to you. So pull your mirror in. If nothing else, pull that in and you'll save that because you'll rip it off. I try not to go across that bridge at all anymore because somebody's going to get killed. It's just a matter of time. And it's a shame that in Florida's friendliest hometown, they can't spend some money to put a protection barrier across there to protect the golf carts. Bringing the total to 276, another 37 homes are headed for the Denson Park development in Oxford. Commissioners Monday approved an amendment to a planned development agreement authorizing a 4th phase for the development that began nearly 6 years ago. A site plan must be submitted before construction, which must begin within 2 years according to the planned development agreement. A neighborhood of single-family detached homes on 85 acres, Denson Park is on County Road 101 about a mile north of County Road 466. It is behind the village of Parkwood and across County Road 101 from the back of the village of Summerhill. The developer, Denson Partners LLC, offers 15 home models with starting prices from $365,000 to $625,000 and ranging from about 2,100 to 3,500 square feet. Homes have 3 to 4 bedrooms and 2 to 2.5 bathrooms. They feature block construction, plank porcelain flooring, and Whirlpool appliances. Ooh, Whirlpool. I've had nothing but problems with Whirlpool appliances down here, to the point where we got rid of all of our Whirlpool appliances in our kitchen and bought all new stuff and put in there. It constantly broke down. 3 microwaves within a 5-year period. That's how bad it was. Amenities include tennis courts, full basketball courts, children's playgrounds, fitness trail, and exercise stations, dog park, and covered picnic areas. Well, there you go. More homes around the villages. Well, this young man here goes back a long way. For those of you that are new here and maybe didn't see the news report I did, it's been a couple years ago on this guy. Him and his friends in Spanish Springs, there was a kid their age. He had a job working as, I believe, a server at one of the restaurants up there. And he was walking down the sidewalk and his buddies here got out of a car, went over on the sidewalk, literally across from the square there where they do the dancing and whatever, and beat this kid, and he died. And this guy was one of them. And here's his update today. A man tied to an infamous beating to death in 2016 at Spanish Springs Town Square has been arrested in a violent incident involving a gun. Corey Alston Alvut, 29, of Summerfield, was arrested Tuesday on a felony charge of aggravated battery. He was arguing with a friend at a friend's home when he placed a semi-automatic pistol against his friend's head, according to an arrest report from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Alvut, who was aggressive and intoxicated, attempted to pull his friend out of the garage, causing his friend to fall to the ground. The incident was captured on surveillance. Alvut fled before the arrival of deputies and was arrested at his home. He was booked at the Marion County Jail on a $50,000 bond. Alvut made headlines in 2017 when he dodged depositions he was supposed to give in the June 7, 2016 death at McCall's Tavern employee Austin Stevens. Bryce Hall of Weirsdale and Nicholas Metcalf of Bellevue were arrested in the case. Circuit Judge Lawrence Cemento signed the order for Alvut's arrest, and he was ordered to be held behind bars until he gave a deposition. He was one of 4 men who had arrived at Spanish Springs Town Square in a white late model Chrysler minivan in before the confrontation with Stevens over comments that were made about his girlfriend. Stevens got into an altercation with Hall and Metcalf and later died of a brain injury suffered during the melee. Alvut spent more than a month at Lake County Jail before finally deciding to provide the deposition, which was sought by attorneys for both Hall and Metcalf. Hall and Metcalf eventually escaped jail time for Stevens' death. Hall initially faced a charge of manslaughter, but the charge was dropped after Stevens was determined to be the initial aggressor in the incident. Metcalf was sentenced to 6 months probation after pleading no contest to a charge of battery, which had been reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor. And it was just an uproar how these 3 boys beat that kid to death. It doesn't make a difference to me who the aggressor was, really. But they beat this kid to the point where he died, and none of them got jail time. This is why I'm not a big fan of plea bargaining. It's almost like the law is for sale. Some good news. Spanish Springs Town Square is on tap for a $1.2 million upgrade. The Village Center Community Development District Board of Supervisors is set to approve a bid of $1.2 million from G&G Construction of Marion County Incorporated for the first phase of improvements at the village's original town square. The project includes demolition, minor site work, curbing replacement, and select intersections and utility modifications. The improvements consist of pedestrian concrete paving, pedestrian decorative paving, new raised seating area and planters, tile work, precast concrete work, handrails, landscape irrigation improvements, as well as electrical and lighting improvements. The work will take place near the Van Patten House and the Sharon L. Morris Performing Arts Center. The bid came in higher as anticipated, as the work had been budgeted for $975,000 to make up the roughly $259,000 shortfall. The necessary funds will be transferred from working capital and reserves. The VCCDD board will meet at 3:30 p.m. Wednesday at the district office at Brownwood. Not sure exactly what all that was that they're going to do, but I'm sure Spanish Springs deserves to be upgraded a little bit. It's been a long time. An unlicensed driver from Mexico was arrested after a crash in the Villages. An officer responded to an accident involving 2 vehicles at the intersection of Marsh Bend Trail and Central Parkway near the village of Shady Brook at around 7:25 a.m. Tuesday, according to the arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. The officer spoke with one of the drivers, who was later identified as 36-year-old Lewis. Name will be in the picture. by his Mexican voter identification card. He advised that he was the driver of the 2013 Ford F-150. The officer asked if he had a driver's license or ID card, to which he stated no. Lewis then provided his name and date of birth as his identity. The report noted that he later gave another officer his Mexican voter ID card. A check using this information confirmed that he was not issued a Florida license and was not a U.S. citizen. Lewis was subsequently arrested on charge of operating a motor vehicle without a valid license. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where a hold was put on his custody by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. It's a new day. Wildwood will build a police station in the Middleton area of the Villages of Southern Oaks. Commissioner's money approved a $14,100 preliminary design contract for the station near County Road 470 and Marshbend Trail, next to the Villages Fire Station number 48. The contract, which includes limited professional architectural services, adds $1,250 for reimbursable expenses. The substation will enhance police coverage in the most rapidly growing area of Wildwood. KP Studio Architects of Ocala will prepare a report in 30 to 60 days with a floor plan and evaluation of the heating and air conditioning systems, electrical, plumbing, and backup generator for the 7,200 square foot building. Another 1,350 square feet will be reserved for future expansion. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering services will be provided by Verando Engineering Company, and Clymer Farmer Barley Incorporated will provide civil design services. The building will include a lobby, reception area, workspace, offices, restrooms, conference room, and break room. The project includes 29 spaces of public parking and gated parking for law enforcement. I have all kinds of questions when things like this happen, but I'm not going to bring them up. People get upset when I do. A villager arrested after a woman's fatal fall from his golf cart lost his wife in December. Richard Allen Keel, 58, of the village of Rio Ponderosa, was arrested on a charge of DUI manslaughter after the 60-year-old Norridge, Illinois woman fell from his golf cart at about 1 a.m. Sunday on San Marino Drive at the intersection of Santa Clara Circle. He had swerved to avoid hitting a parked car, and the sudden jerk caused her to fall out of the golf cart. She suffered serious injuries and was transported to an area hospital where she died. Keel and his wife moved in 2015 to Florida from New Jersey. They bought their home in the village of Rio Ponderosa in 2020. Tracy Jo Keel, who had worked for 30 years for the state of New Jersey prior to retirement, died on December 29th. Her husband's social media posts over the past several months clearly show he has been struggling with profound grief. Keel was initially held without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. On Monday morning, a judge set his bond at $50,000. And I have a little bit of an update on that. A villager facing a charge of DUI manslaughter was freed from jail Monday as more details were learned about the woman who fatally fell from his golf cart. Richard Allen Keel, 58, of the village of Rio Ponderosa, was released shortly after 1 p.m. Monday from the Sumter County Detention Center after posting a $50,000 bond. He was arrested in the wee hours Sunday morning after 60-year-old Kelly Novitt of Norridge, Illinois, fell from his golf cart. Novitt's mother lives on the historic side of the Villages. It appears that Novitt has been spending a great deal of time in Florida's friendliest hometown. She had been a passenger in the golf cart when Kyle, who was reportedly impaired, was traveling on San Marino Drive, not far from his home, when he had swerved to avoid hitting a car about 1 a.m. Sunday, according to the Florida Highway Patrol. Kyle remained at the scene on San Marino Drive, where an investigator spotted a pool of blood on the pavement. Kyle's golf cart had a cooler with 4 empty Michelob beer cans and a case of Michelob Ultra beer. Kyle admitted he had consumed 3 cans of beer and was at a bar prior to the accident. He performed poorly in field sobriety exercises and provided breath samples that registered .092 and .081 blood alcohol content. Well, that's a sad situation. Village of Osceola Hills residents turned out in force Monday night to complain about chronic traffic jams at Morris Boulevard and State Road 44 while Sumter County Commissioners approved a contract to study the intersection. One resident said she had seen multiple accidents, including a fatality. The board is equally as concerned about the traffic congestion, said County Administrator Bradley Arnold. The $50,755 study by Kimley Horn and Associates is expected to be completed by June. The firm will collect 12 hours of turning movement counts and review 5 years of crash data. It will measure signal timings and project future traffic volume. Since State Road 44 is a state road, Kimley Horn will consult Florida Department of Transportation staff. The firm will recommend improvements and determine right-of-way needs. It is not going to happen tomorrow, said County Chairman Don Wiley. It's going to take several months to go through the process. Residents say traffic will get much worse when a Walmart Supercenter opens on the southwest corner. I have seen multiple accidents, said Robin Posey. I have seen a fatal accident where an SUV was torn in half. Bill Maher said emergency vehicles face a problem getting through the traffic since there are no road shoulders. I don't want someone to die because an ambulance can't get through there. Carolini said it's taken up to 44 minutes to get through the intersection. People are leaving the villages because the traffic is so horrendous. Well, I don't doubt the fact that there are some people that leave because of the traffic. I don't doubt that at all, but I don't think it's a very large amount. It's probably just a minute amount of people leaving. But it is a problem, and it's going to have to be dealt with. Brisk progress is being made on the new Hooters restaurant coming to the villages. The Hooters restaurant, to be located at Lake Deaton Plaza, will be 4,500 square feet inside and will also offer an outdoor patio. The opening of the village's location is planned for early summer 2025. Ground was broken in January for the new Hooters restaurant. HMC Hospitality Group CEO Neil Kiefer said villagers have been asking for a Hooters. He promised this will be the first Hooters in Florida's friendliest hometown, and has hinted there could be more coming. In addition to Village's restaurant, HMC Hospitality Group is also expanding with Hooters locations in Wesley Chapel and Las Vegas. Well, there you are, ladies and gents. I'll see some of you there. The Villages has a new director of executive golf maintenance. Donald Jones was introduced Monday morning at the project-wide advisory committee meeting at Seabreeze Rec Center. Jones succeeds Mitch Leninger, who has moved on to a new position with the United States Golf Association. Well, congratulations to him. Jones previously worked as director of agronom at the Oakwood Golf Club in Rapids Parish, Louisiana. In 2024, villagers were incensed after golf courses had deteriorated and courses became atrocious and unplayable. Both PWAC and AAC invested millions in golf course renovations as a result of the uproar. Well, we'll see how this works out. Members of the Fun Fitness Table Tennis Club had a kickoff party meeting Saturday at Manatee Recreation Center in an effort to promote the sport for all residents, including those with mobility challenges. The meeting brought together table tennis enthusiasts all the way from the village of El Cortez in the north to the village of Shady Brook in the south. The mission is to promote table tennis in the villages for all residents, including players with mobility challenges, fostering fitness, fun, and community engagements. Members of the FFTTC will be participating in the Parkinson's Moving Day Walk. Well, good for them. There's a club here for everything. Speaking of sports, how about a little bit of pickleball update? A villager known as Pickleball Billy has been arrested after unwelcome visits to his neighbor's villa. William Leonard Hardig, 78, who has become known as the USA Pickleball Ambassador in the Villages, was arrested this past week on charges charging him with 2 counts of trespassing. The Massachusetts native was caught on surveillance on October 17th and November 27th, crossing onto a neighbor's property in the Hollandale Villas in the village of St. Charles, according to the Rescue Department of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Harding had been formally banned by a trespass order in April from the property of a neighbor, a man in his 70s. The arrest report indicated the man had put up little flags in his yard to show the exact location of the property line. The information was sent to the state attorney's office, which issued the warrants for Harding's arrest. Harding, who stands 5 feet and 1 inch tall and weighs 110 pounds, was picked up at his home March 5 at the Hollandale Villas. He remains free on a $2,000 bond. I didn't quite get that. Put the flags out. Who did? It says the man. It says the arrest report indicated that the man had put up little flags. What man? Are we talking about Harding or the owner of the other house? Either case, you can't do that. Technically, flags could be considered as, you heard it, yard decoration. Now, I've warned everybody south of 44 about this several times. I don't do it anymore because I figure if you ain't got the message by now, you never will. So here we go. And this is exactly what I was talking about. I know it's an unplanned event. I understand that. There's nothing you can do about this. But it goes with everything else. The project-wide advisory committee will pay for the repair of a sinkhole at a golf course that was part of a recent amenity sale by the developer. Remember I reported that you're buying all the amenities down there for X amount of bucks, whatever it was, 140 million or whatever it was. And I said, once you put your name on that dotted line, it's yours. So developer's not going to get this sinkhole fixed. You are. The issue in the sinkhole at hole number 2 at the Lob Lolly Executive Golf Course in the village of McClure was raised at Monday's PWAC meeting by Supervisor Dale Martin, who represents Community Development District 12. Who will pay for that repair? Martin asked. I told you months ago who was going to pay for that kind of stuff. A sale was closed on February 13th in which the developer sold off amenities in CDD 12 and 13 for $258 million. The recreation facilities purchased using residents' amenity money, including 5 executive golf courses, 28 swimming pools, recreation centers, pitch and putt courses, softball fields, and dog parks. Lob Lolly was one of those courses in the amenity sale. During the PWAC meeting, Assistant District Manager Bruce Brown estimated a sinkhole repair would cost about $15,000. The sinkhole opened up due to the failure of a 36-inch plastic pipe. Repairs are scheduled to take place this week. Another district official clarified on Tuesday that the repair will be paid for out of the PWAC fund and not with amenity money. The PWAC fund relies on residents' maintenance assessments. The official also said it appears the repair will cost much less than initially projected. You know, I did video. I showed many places that you guys are going to have to pay millions of dollars to get fixed now because now you own it. One of which is the golf cart trail. I call it the golf cart trail. You call it whatever you want. They're golf cart trails. South of 44. Millions of dollars is going to have to be spent to fix them correctly. Hey, okay. Here's going to be news that I don't understand at all. I know I've got some doctors and some registered nurses, and I know there's some people out there in the medical profession that can probably answer the question that everybody's going to have that I've got. I'm not going to say right now, but when I read this shocking incident in the villages to you, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Put it in the comments below and let us know, is this something that is normal? Should we do this if we run across somebody that's, well, you'll see. A villager's son is facing a murder charge after the discovery of a dead, naked woman at his mother's home. Brian William Decott, 48, continues to be held without bond following his arrest this past Friday on a warrant charging him with homicide. The warrant was issued as a result of an investigation into a grisly incident on Halloween at the home at Decott's mother at 750 Pasture Street in the village of Charlotte. Decott placed a 911 call, and when Sumter County Sheriff's deputies arrived at the home, they found a woman deceased and lying nude, according to the affidavit of probable cause on file in Sumter County Court. The woman was later identified as Tracy Jean Miller. There were needle marks in Miller's arm consistent with injection marks used to inject illegal narcotics. The affidavit said deputies also found a powdery substance and several different types of syringes. It was later determined she had died after injecting a lethal dose of cocaine. During the initial investigation, the cop was acting suspicious and refusing to answer questions from paramedics. The cop was transported to UF Health Leesburg Hospital. The cop later told the investigator that he and Miller had been in an intimate relationship for more than a year. He said they discussed injecting cocaine to further enhance their sexual activities. He said they were engaged in sexual intercourse prior to injecting themselves. Miller took 2 Xanax tablets and injected liquid cocaine into her arm. Decott also injected himself with liquid cocaine. Decott logged onto his computer and searched for pornographic websites, but Miller began to shake badly. She became unresponsive and fell to the floor. Decott attempted to treat her by inserting Advil tablets into her mouth. He also inserted Advil tablets into her vagina, and in an attempt to revive her. About 15 minutes passed, and when she failed to regain consciousness, he called 911. Paramedics pronounced her dead at the scene. The powder in the bag was determined to be fentanyl. Decott admitted to an investigator he had traveled to Tampa on Halloween morning to purchase the cocaine. In addition to homicide, he is charged with cocaine distribution. The 5th Judicial Medical Examiner's Office on November 21 listed Miller's cause of death as cocaine toxicity. Decott's parents purchased their home in 2015. His father died in 2021. There's a little bit of an update here. The villager's son, charged in a shocking death, is confident that he's going to be represented by a private attorney. Brian William Decott, 48, is facing a charge of homicide in connection with the Halloween death of a woman of whom he was sexually intimate with after both injected with liquid cocaine at his mother's home in the villages of Charlotte. Decott continues to be held without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. A document filed in Sumter County Court indicates that Decott has rejected the services of a public defender's office and will be using a private attorney. Court records do not indicate an attorney has been retained. I'm sure he's got confidence that Mommy Dearest is going to take care of that. That'd be my guess. I don't really know how to ask this question, but can you see the question that I was referring to? If you're passed out, had a seizure, you're passed out, first thing he did was shove 2 Advil tablets in her mouth. I don't understand that. Correct me. Let me know if there's something that I should know here in case emergency pops up and I'm around. And I really don't get the idea of shoving Advil tablets in her vagina. Can somebody answer that for me? I hate to play dumb here, but I don't get it. Or is this guy just a nut? Hope you enjoyed this special report. See you on the other side. Well, how many holes in ones of golf do we get? Looks like only 2. Mary Ann Perrine of the village of Pinellas got a hole-in-one Wednesday, March 5 at hole number 13 at Mickey Lee Pitch and Putt. She used a 7-iron. She started golfing 2 months ago. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Mary Ann. Diane Nestor of the village of Collier got her first hole-in-one at hole number 5 at the Palmetto Executive Golf Course at 75 yards with a 9-iron. Congratulations on your hole-in-one, Diane. Palmetto is one of my favorite executive golf courses because they have 2 par 4s there. Well, let's go to everybody's favorite. To the editor. To the part-time residents who wish people would stop knocking snowbirds because they pay the way for the rest of us, it is that kind of arrogant attitude that causes some full-time residents to resent our seasonal residents. We are all residents and contributors to our lifestyle. We welcome the seasonal financial input, but please leave the holier-than-thou attitude at your other home. That's sent in by Jim Harris from the village of Richmond. Well, Jim, you got a point. They do that all the time. They say, well, with our financial input, that's why the rest of you can afford to be there full-time. Well, that might have been true one day, back in the day. That might have been true because it seems like half of the people when Spanish Springs was the only square. I'll tell you what, you went there in the summer months, it was almost like in a ghost town. And then in the winter, it was full. full of not just seasonal residents, but their guests would come with them. Other people would come with them looking for houses to buy and all this and that. So at one time, that might be true that the part-timers subsidized everything here for us. Today, 150, 60,000-ish people and growing at an average of 10,000 people a year. We don't need that anymore. They don't subsidize anything here anymore. I don't want to make you mad, but that's a fact. There are so many things being built around the villages now, and if you're watching this report, you've seen me talk about all of them. All these massive communities being built around the villages. Where do you think all them people are going? When they go out to eat, when they want to go to the squares, they're coming here. They're spending money. So things is just going to click right along no matter what. They're building more. More apartments are being built. Another massive community over by Caroline's being built. I don't see an end to it. So they can't say that anymore. Their time here, their money here is welcome. I mean, whose isn't, right? But to say that they subsidize us to live here, not anymore. At one time, maybe. Today, no. Sorry, but that's the truth. To the editor, where are the people who are supposed to be checking IDs at the pools? There are people and children in the pools, and I am sure they are not residents. I thought someone was supposed to check IDs at pools. We pay more for amenities and get less. That's sent in by Dolores Wilson from the historic side of the villages. You know, that is true, Dolores. I've been up to your area up there. The historic side seems like they're getting abused a lot, and nobody's really doing anything about it. Here's what I recommend for you to do. You want to call John Rohan's office. I used to post his phone number on here all the time. He's the head of Parks and Recreations here. Call him. Get your neighbors to call him. All of you just keep calling him until they do something about it, because it's ridiculous. I mean, we're paying to have floors redone. We're paying to have the tile floor taken out and a new tile floor put in. And all these landscapers and people that come by and use our restrooms like it's a public restroom, because they're not. How much are they paying to get these floors redone, to get the restrooms cleaned out every night and stuff? Nothing. So call John Rohan. To the editor, I wish all of you on this site would stop knocking snowbirds. After all, we are the golden goose who chose to spend our money in Florida's friendliest hometown. Making life affordable for all of you who are here all 12 months a year. Don't worry, we'll be gone soon. That's sent in by Chris Alden, a snowbird. Well, yes, I think that they depended on you to spend enough money here in the wintertime to be able to support business here the rest of the year. That's no longer true. Whether you're here or whether you're not here, nothing's going to change now. There's too many people living here, too many communities around the villages that come in here every day and spend their money, and their money works just as good as yours, that it doesn't make any difference. And the facts of it is this: no matter how you feel about things, if you sell your house and move because you're just sick of it, it's never going to change because your house is still here. Somebody's going to buy that house, and they're just going to continue on paying the bills that you pay now. So things is never going to change. You can stay, you can leave. You can blame them, you can blame me. I don't care. Nothing's going to change. Okay, I believe that's going to be the news for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoy making these. It's very time-consuming to edit this news. Anybody that's done any kind of YouTubing at all, when you watch my news, you can see the editing. I have one major problem that I have always had a hard time with, is lighting. So if you ever watch my news and sometimes the lighting looks good, other times it looks a little dark or something going on there, I'm not good with lighting. I play with it all the time. If I ever get it to the point where I think it's perfect, I swear to God, I'm not touching it anymore. I'll just leave it there. But it's something that always changes because I have the windows open over here to let sunlight in. And so depending on how much sunlight's coming in, I have to adjust the lights over here. It's an effort. So I'll apologize for the bad lighting. That's on me. I want to thank all my members that came out to the members' lunch. It was great. We had a pretty good turnout. I don't know how many people was there, but we had 1, 2, 3, I think 4 tables total, long tables. So, yeah, we had a good time. I thank everybody that came out. I got the chance to meet some people. I don't know if I got a chance to meet everybody. It's just hard sometimes to get around. I'm not ignoring anybody by far. I'm not. We usually put Sue at one table, me at another table, and when Linda's there, she's at the end of another table, And Judy's there. She's at another table. Jose's there. He's at everybody's table. So we try to get around to talk and all this and that and help you out if we can, or answer any questions or take pictures or whatever you want. So I had a good time. I appreciate it. We'll do it again. I don't know how soon, but we'll do it again. And with that, I want to thank all you out there that become Patreon members. I got a bunch of new ones again. Get your Discord going. That's really where the action's at. I still post all this stuff on Patreon. You get it early. You guys get it commercial free. And you're also getting things on Patreon that I do not put on YouTube because YouTube will demonetize me for some strange reason. They just do. Where on Patreon, they don't. And so that's why I put a lot of stuff on Patreon. That's really one of the reasons why I even started Patreon, is for that reason. So I do appreciate you going there and supporting the channel. And it's very, very humbling for me to think that you guys like the stuff enough to be willing to pay a couple bucks a month. Some of you a lot more. Some of you are paying $25 a month to help the channel out. And God be with you, because I tell you, I couldn't thank you guys enough. Seriously, I couldn't. You have no idea what we use that money for. And I don't really talk about it. But I don't necessarily use all that money for camera equipment and all this and that. You know that I support the Children's Wish Foundation. So I'll just leave it at that. So we do what we can do to help out with whatever we can help out with, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. It's a great day in the village. It's 80 degrees, sunny outside. Sorry for all you up north, but you'll be down here soon. Stay well. Be well. Stay alert. Be aware. Stay healthy. Keep that health. That's the most important thing.
And don't leave your key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.